While the 30th anniversary of Pokemon couldn't get more exciting, well, I just think it just has, because it seems like Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen are going to be returning to the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is really fantastic in so many different ways because you want to see these games returning, but also, if you take a look at this post right here, you can see they will return soon. Now, this is fantastic, but you might just say, well, it's going to return to the Nintendo Switch Online. If you take a look at this post, however, you can see that Central Leaks did say that there's another leaker that claims that we aren't going to be seeing them on Switch Online, which there's only two other options for that. A, it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch eShop like we had it back in 2016. Now, of course, it wasn't the Nintendo Switch eShop back then, but the 3DS eShop, where you were able to pick up red, blue, yellow, crystal, silver, and gold. I believe those came out a little bit later, but still, they were really fantastic and you were able to pick them up for a relatively cheap price compared to what you can buy them right now in the actual world. If you go and try to find yourself FireRed and LeafGreen, it's probably going to cost you roughly $100. And that's not where it gets even worse, but if you look at the DS prices or the DS games, those are about $200 for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, for Pokemon Black and White 2, and it gets crazier from there. But it seems like this might actually happen, because right now, Pokemon isn't making any money off of their old games. Pokemon fans across the world consider them the best era of Pokemon games, because they were so unique and diverse that it makes you really feel so great to replay these games once again. So for the 30th anniversary, celebrating Kanto, celebrating Johto, celebrating all the different regions, it honestly makes sense to re-release some of these games. Hopefully they do some sort of collection pack that one side you see pretty much the first games, or what I mean by that, the first half of the games, where from each game, of course, there's red and blue. So one pack will have red, the other one will have blue. One pack will have gold, the other one will have silver. Another one's going to have Ruby and Sapphire. The point is they're going to have each games and they're going to sell them in different cartridges. Now this would be really fantastic. I hope that this happens, but I see myself thinking that if anything, they're going to re-release these games on the eShop so they can easily take them away, because of course, with digital games, you don't technically own them, but instead you own a license. We've seen this happen time and time again, where some of these games just disappear forever. Now, usually, Nintendo is a pretty good company when it comes to not taking away your games. You do technically own them forever when you buy them digital, but of course, just take that at face value right here. But overall, I think that this is going to be fantastic. This just proves that the 30th anniversary of Pokemon could be way bigger than we thought. So many games are happening, so many collection cards, and everything is happening for this anniversary. And Pokemon themselves did say that it's going to be the greatest anniversary, a 10 out of 10, if you will, anniversary. And the Pokemon Presents might actually just prove this. We know that we're getting Pokemon Generation 10. It's just a fact. It's just a thing that's going to happen. But what makes 10 out of 10, not only just Generation 10, but also FireRed and LeafGreen or older Pokemon games. I've talked about this so much. Older Pokemon games are going to be returning. And this post just proves that in so many different ways. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that we are going to be seeing Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen or older Pokemons as a whole? Because if it really were to come down to it, I think that they are going to start re-releasing some of these games, because then again, they're not making any money off of them, and right now there's definitely a lot of you, or a lot of players, people out there that are taking Pokemon games and playing them in a way that they definitely shouldn't be played. But at the end of the day, Pokemon is not really giving you that option to buy these games off of them. Because I'm sure of it that if they gave you an actual option to buy these games, a lot of you, or a lot of people, would buy the games from a special source, a dedicated source, and there you go. You can play your fan favorite Pokemon games in the way that you wanted to play. If you want to play in TV mode, dock mode, whatever the case may be, well then you can play in dock mode. If you want to play in handheld mode, once again, you can do that as well. It is a special thing, and you can really expect these games to actually be released on Pokemon Day. Because if you think about it, that does make a lot of sense. They could release some sort of shadow drop or something that says in the Pokemon Presents, you are going to be able to pick up these games, or after this Pokemon Presents end, this will be available on the eShop. That would make a lot of sense, to be honest, because shadow drops are definitely a really interesting and convenient way to drop the games and bring up that hype level. So I honestly think that if we do get these games, these are going to be released on Pokemon Day. Of course, if it's a digital version and there's not going to be a physical copy, or there's not going to be any of the other games. But I think that this is really a great thing to see, because if it is going to be a digital game, maybe $10 like it was on the DS, I think it honestly was cheaper than that, about $5 Canadian or something like that, which was a crazy thing for the time. Like, there was definitely a lot of great deals. So let's just stick to these games could be resold for $10. I feel like they're probably going to go more expensive the way that the economy and everything is shaping up to be. But honestly, $20 for old Pokemon games, not the worst things after we've been getting stumbled by $70 games, $80 games. Some of them don't even live up to the hype, and definitely is a very strange thing from there. But overall, I think that it definitely is a great thing. I think it's going to happen. And let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I really appreciate your opinion. Consider to hit the like button if you're appreciate my opinion and you like this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Hope you have a fantastic day, and see you in the next one.